Hi there, Steve Stine here again. This is part 2 of the video that I had done previously talking about ideas of improvisation, things to think about when you're going to try and solo over the top of something. So the first one discussed, pentatonic and a rhythm pyramid or rhythm tree idea and some things like that. All I'm going to do in this one is I'm going to elevate it up a little bit by adding in a diatonic scale. Now, diatonic is the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do scale. So my chord progression is still the same thing. I'm using C, G, A minor, and F. Only this time, I'm going to start using more notes. I'm going to use my major scale and try and be more creative that way, okay? So again, remember that all of these things that we talked about in the first video are still going to apply here. You are limited or unlimited by your knowledge of your fretboard and the knowledge of your theory, of your understanding of how chords and scales work together and that sort of thing. And so that's why practice is so important, is that you keep trying to bring those ideas to another level. You keep getting better with your visualization of your fretboard and your understanding of how chords and scales go together. So anyway, here we go. So same chord progression that I was doing before. So what you'll notice in there is I'm still trying to utilize all of the same techniques. I'm using my fretboard, but now I'm using it in a major scale sense. C major, again, C Ionian, C major, however you want to think of it, which is the same as A minor. But what I'm doing is I'm utilizing that rhythmic tree to figure out how to move around through there. Dun, 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 whatever kinds of things I can think of. And then the big thing now is, because I've got more notes, I can even play more melodically than I could in the pentatonic scale, which is really nice. The big thing with diatonic versus pentatonic is that with diatonic, you have the half steps, which just sounds so great and they're so melodic. And so that's some ideas of things that you can do with a diatonic scale as well. And please remember, this is not a video for you to try and cop what I'm doing. I don't even know what I'm doing, right? I'm just kind of moving around, making stuff up. But what it is an idea for you to think about how to approach something. Some other ideas for you to think about to keep trying to perfect your ability to solo, other than the ones I've already mentioned, are things like bending and vibrato, sliding, hammer-ons, pull-offs, trills. And again, if you have a piece of paper, as I say in most of my videos, write this stuff down and then think about it. Go back and start practicing those things. Those are great techniques that are, they apply to guitar so great and they sound so melodic. So instead of just playing through, you can go, or, use some sliding techniques. And when you go for a bend, don't be scared that you're not going to get the bend. Practice those bends and those vibratos and, all those kind of things. Develop them as much as you can to make them sound confident. My whole thing with playing guitar is it isn't how much you know necessarily and how fast you are and all those sorts of things. They're all great tools for sure, but if you're not using them correctly, you're still not getting the output that you want. And so the most important thing with all of this stuff is to play it confidently. When you go to play, you can feel it. you understand exactly what you're trying to do when you're going for this. And again, you might not know where you're going because you're improvising. You're just making things up. But when you do it, you're doing things that just feel right to you. So when you go for a bend or you go for a vibrato or those sorts of things, you're not playing them shyly. You're not, that sort of thing. You got to go for them like you mean them. And then the last thing to think about in a solo is stopping. Stop playing, okay? Your listener doesn't get a chance to really absorb what you did if you're playing the entire time. You have to physically stop playing sometimes. Not that, but physically stop playing. Whatever it is, okay, you got to stop sometimes. Okay, so hopefully these videos will get you thinking a little bit, at least moving in the right direction as far as some of the ideas that guitar players have in their minds when they're actually going to solo over the top of something. Now, of course, it's your job to go and start trying to develop these things. And please always remember, we're all doing the same thing. We're all trying to learn, get as much in before we can't play guitar anymore. So when you get a new idea, absorb that idea and keep nurturing it and keep building it into something that you can actually use. Take things at small bits. Don't just try and do everything all at once. If you have never really done vibrato before, that's a great technique to start working on. You can still work on improvising, but you need to develop that vibrato and things like that. So anyway, take care. If you have any requests for anything else, please make sure you let me know, and I would be happy to help you. Have a great day.